We're here. The music is probably too loud. Oh no, it's not. It's a reasonable volume. Good evening. We're live on the internet. We've arrived. How are you guys doing?
Good.
We're good.
It's the
Launch got scrubbed last week, slightly delayed for weather today, but the Dragonfly is off and running.
We are. Yeah. We're back. Last week was harrowing and arduous, and I got hung up, and so we had a delay of game, and tonight we had to wait for some folks, and it's always worth waiting to make sure that the cake comes out just right. I don't know, baking analogy. You like baking, Taylor?
I do like baking.
We did have a great discussion on baking. I was rewatching the episode from last week, and the discussion about cinnamon or about raisins and cookies that are supposed to be chocolate chip got me irate all over again. I was all kinds of worked up.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, we're running lean tonight, but we are in fact here, which is great and exciting. It's been too long.
Lean is a I don't know that applies to me right now. I'm in that holiday shove everything down my gullet phase, but
dude, I feel you.
Yeah, I McMuffined my way through the day, so I feel you.
Yeah,
oh, gosh.
I just finished. I had Outback Steakhouse for dinner, which I ordered, and I got butter cake with strawberries and homemade whipped cream, and it was so good.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. I had a big Bender cooking weekend. I made a pot roast and pasta fagioli and a bunch of test drive pies with gluten-free friggin' nut crusts that I burned a little bit so I couldn't give them to anybody else. And now I have 3 pies and half of 4 gallons of soup and a half a pot roast in my fridge. I don't even know what to do with myself. My lady love there brought me freaking bagels from the city. I got a dozen bagels. I'm out of my mind. I've been carb loading and just smashing comfort food for the last 2 weeks.
What is carb bloating?
I don't know. Isn't that a thing that people say who
I don't
are
know.
Fitness people or something?
Do we look like those people?
No, it's fine. I know what carb
Are we those people?
I was referring to an oversized car that is carb bloating. So my deal is.
Can you say?
Huh?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say. I was going to slightly change the subject. Not the subject, but I was going to add. It is Pizza Week in Louisville, Kentucky. All of the local pizza chains have agreed to have $9 pizza pies. So you can buy your own pizza for $9 at all these various chains. So that's what I had tonight because I'm leaving town tomorrow, and I was not about to give up the opportunity for pizza.
Oh my!
So there you go, Kurt. If what you had to say had anything to do with pizza, there's a perfect transition for you.
Well, he is a turtle.
I had a autumn apple pizza over the weekend. It was apple chutney and smoked Gouda and bacon, and it was amazing.
That sounds delectable, actually. Taylor brought me a sandwich this weekend that's an apple turkey sandwich, and it's one of my favorites. It's apple and brie with cranberry mayo. Oh, dude.
And I put some of Mike's hot honey on it.
Oh.
Can you explain hot honey to me?
Spicy, not temperature.
I understand. I guess I understand what it is, but why is it?
Because sweet and hot are delicious together. That's a good combo, isn't it?
It's sweet, they're sweet and savory. This is sweet and spicy.
I think the issue is, and maybe it's just how my taste buds are built. I don't do sweet with anything other than sweet. I don't do sweet and sour. I don't do sweet and savory. It's weird. It's not weird. It's just I don't know. My brain cannot handle it.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay, but that makes at least sense that the idea is that sweet and spicy people like that together. I guess
I think so. Yeah, I think it's like a honey mustard is on the edge of that. I know mustard is its own thing, right? But it's that spicy with sweet.
Spicy mustard.
Or
that's what I refer to
chocolate.
Oh yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, the Mexican hot chocolates are actually really good.
Oh my gosh.
There's this stuff called
or a nice mole sauce.
Oh, I like
mole.
I like a mole. There's this Mexican hot chocolate called Abuelita that it has this little picture of little Mexican grandma on the front of it. I think that's what Abuelita
Abuelita means yeah. Tiny,
Yeah,
tiny
they're like these.
grandmother.
That's so far it tracks.
Yeah, they're like these big fat like chocolate coins, right? They look like a disc. They look like you're gonna chomp into them and bite them, but no. You melt them down, like you throw them in your boiling water and get a good mix. And there's a good clip of cinnamon in there, but also a little bit of spice, and it's a very unique hot chocolate.
This just reminded me of the day that I shadowed my sister at work, I think while I was in high school. And she works in branding, and her job is to come up with the names and titles of like various lines. Like, for example, she worked on Pringles, and when they create like a new flavor, like she comes up with like what is the name that fits the brand for that flavor. So it's not just like, sour cream. It could be, I don't know. Anyway, the example that caused me to think of this was one of her clients had invented like a new set of flavors of chips. So we had to sit there and like taste the chips and then describe them in a way that was like more highbrow, right? Mm-hmm. So it was like sweet Bali lime or like a mango chutney adventure. And there was one that we all tasted, and we all kind of like looked at each other, and we were like, "This tastes like grade school taco." It tastes like maybe like Mexican pizza, what we call Mexican pizza in Kentucky, at least. I don't know if that's a thing where you grew up.
I only refer to
called those. They were called fiestadas.
Okay. Ooh. Right. So we're like,
I only know a Taco Bell Mexican pizza, but I love those things.
Yeah, it's like the hexagonal pizza.
Yep. Orange.
Yep, for sure, with like the orange cheese. So they ended up like landing on like chile con carne as like the name or whatever. And the copywriter like goes to her office and then comes back like an hour later with these little blurbs that are like what you would put on the back of the package. And it was like, ever since mi abuela made chile con carne when I was a child. I was like, oh my God. So every time someone talks about a food item, an abuelita or abuela, that's all I can think of is the grade school taco chip.
Dude.
All I can think of is college. We had a project where we had to create our own brand of chocolates, and everybody was doing rectangular bars of chocolate. So naturally, I had to do something different than that.
Nice.
So I was making chocolate balls, and I called it Chock Full. And I did all different types of fruits. Because it was like Christmas time. I love those like orange chocolate things that you like.
Oh, you do? That's like, that's a Juniper favorite. She used to love to smash the orange chocolates.
So much.
Yeah.
So I was like making little fruits, but I had like fruit puns.
I've been on a whole like journey here. Troy's talking about this like sample selection of Pringles, and all I'm thinking about is, did she have anything to do with the Survivor Pringles?
It was not necessarily Pringles.
Okay, got it.
But it was Pringles.
A chip like Pringles.
But it was not necessarily Pringles.
Right.
But so is there any possibility that she potentially had anything to do with the Survivor maybe Pringles that were printed that had the trivia on them? That was like
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Of course not. My favorite is imagining you taste testing these abstract potato thin chips in a very like final season of Breaking Bad setup, and like the Denmark with the glass tray and like the many
no, they came in like Ziploc bags, right? And they were like labeled like 1, 2, 3. There were no words on them.
Yes.
And it was like, I don't know if it was like done so that we weren't biased, but like they all knew. I guess I'm assuming they knew what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the weird people concocted stuff and gave it to them. I don't know.
Fascinating exercise.
It was fascinating. It was fascinating. It was also I spent like 4 hours going into meetings with her, and it wasn't until like the 4th meeting I realized she was in charge of them all. She just, just has a style that just doesn't convey that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway.
Cool.
And then you're talking about like chocolate balls, Taylor, and all I can think about is Alec Baldwin.
Sweaty balls.
I
was going to make the joke.
Right there. It's just like, it's right there. The chocolate sweaty balls. How do you talk about chocolate and then say the word ball without thinking of Alec Baldwin?
Especially around Christmas time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Everyone,
no, it's a tradition in my family. Whenever we get together for Christmas, talk about SNL, and
Oh,
to
yeah.
bring up the sweaty balls. Because, I mean, it's right there. Like,
Because they're of an age. We're like,
Do you
of
like
an
my
age,
sweaty balls?
Like,
Sorry.
well,
damn it.
I would rather sink my teeth into some chocolate sweaty balls than a raisin any day of the week. So I'll just put that out there.
On that note,
That's on the internet.
on that note, Dungeon Master.
Reggie's in his own sweaty ball at the moment.
Doesn't matter. Hard transition. Hard transition. Today is the day we got banned from Twitch, and by we I mean me. So.
Hey, this is a good reminder. This guy, he's supported by your donations and your subscriptions. So subscribe. Hit that subscribe. You get a free Amazon Prime subscription. And you could use it on an independent creator who's doing cool things. So, yeah. Follow your boy. I hate saying your boy. Follow, join the Philly fam. Follow Phil.
Just join the Philly fam. Get on board with the Philly fam. For all you guys who are hanging out here with us, like, thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate it. It's always a delight to have some friends here along for the ride when we're in space. And thank you, Troy. I appreciate it. Yes, I am DM Philly. This is what I do. So we leveled up. We forgot about leveling up, but we're leveled up, right? You guys all leveled up. Do we have any mechanical, housekeeping, bookkeeping questions we want to tackle here? Okay, that sounds like not.
No, I think we were in the middle of a thing, so any questions will come at our next long rest.
Indeed they will. And so I think that with that, if we have nothing else pressing, then we shall pick back up as we last left our heroes, the crew of the Dragonfly, the intrepid Spelljammer vessel, which is weaving its way on a journey of discovery and exploration through the stars. The lot of you had stopped at a place called the Aether Station some 10 days ago, where you discovered it was run by a man named Occam. Occam had a collection of interesting things and interesting people, imprisoned behind cages of force. You could not stand for this oppression, which you found before your faces. And so, you helped to free a pair of individuals, Yana and Sharpjumper, who have joined you on the crew of the Dragonfly for this last 20 days or so. Oh, and of course, the talking plant seed, who desires nothing more than the blood of his foes and their crushed bones in his soil.
Or really anyone, let's be clear.
Well, sure.
Seed doesn't need to have animus in order to eat them.
It's very true. He really just wants blood and bones so that he might fruit rubies when he reaches maturity.
Did you just say the phrase fruit rubies as
Fruit
a
rubies.
verb object sentence
I
construction?
I did. I just verbified fruit. I utilized the term fruit as a verb. Yes. Fruiting would be the better conjugation of said word to apply it to a verb, but nonetheless. So having slapped Occam across his face, stealing precious treasures from underneath his own roof, those treasures, of course, being people who were being oppressed, can't fool us. You fled to the Decidium Spiral, an asteroid field that's being created by a planet ripping itself apart through its own revolutions. You discovered a community here hidden inside one of the asteroids, a place named Bridge, with a portal to the astral plane. You discovered that you were being pursued by mercenaries hired by Occam. So you turned and attacked, attempting to lure them away from this community. You battled these mercenaries on their ship, the Rover. You defeated them. You took control of their vessel. You landed it, attempting to repair the damage to the ships, which you did, because Doc is really good at what she does. So with the ships repaired, the lot of you resting, a swarm of bugs rose up from the asteroid that you were parked on. Kruthix, whom you had to battle, defeating them and returning to the stars. But you discovered a nearby portal, which last week you landed to explore. The portal closed just as you closed down upon the asteroid where you noticed it. But You discovered a great deal of arcanotech, massive metal machinery, for lack of a better word, fueled by strange and arcane magics. You defeated a disgusting monstrosity that was there awaiting you all, a roper. And upon concluding the battle, the guard of this place presented himself. An elf of dark gray skin and minimal hair named Larix Kine. At his side, 2 shadow mastiffs. He explained to the lot of you that the portal was long since damaged, that it operated on a cycle wherein every 4 days it opened and closed to the plane of shadows where his people, the Shadarkai, resided. He named himself the guardian of this gate, the keeper and watcher of those who may attempt to travel through it, and he requested your aid in repairing it if that were a thing that you could do. Doc asked her, saying that she could, but she would need parts. And so with that, the guardian of this gate, spoken with, the monster luring there defeated, you all got back onto the ship to discuss what you were going to do about these many issues around you. At which point, Reggie went to consult one of the orbs that you had collected. The orbs, of course, ancient magical items, repositories of knowledge, as far as we know. And upon taking it into his hand, all of you would see this glimmering purple light projecting from it, coalescing into a single slitted pupil on the backing of a dark purple iris, like an eye peering out of the orb back at you, Reginald. And I believe it had said telepathically in your mind, Professor,
"Finally, I am awakened."
And I think that as the camera focuses in on the interior of the Dragonfly, we see the professor holding said orb, peering back at him, dim purple light emanating out of his hand.
Troy, you're muted.
I realized that.
Yeah.
Great setup, Rich. Fantastic.
I was
setup.
also muted, telling
used
you were muted.
perfect set, and then I just biff it into the net. This is perfect volleyball.
No problem.
And Reginald hears this voice, and he says, "Hello? To whom do I have the pleasure?"
I am designated Ask. User query. What is your identifier?
My identifier. I am Professor No. Oh, goodness, I'm a bit nervous. It is not often that I have some sort of shadow. Or I'm Professor Reginald Frybottom. Lux, Jake. This thing is speaking with me. It's quite startling.
What is speaking with you exactly?
The orb.
What is it saying?
It's it asked my designation. That it said it has been awakened. Jake.
Pilot query.
I think you hear a voice like echo through the ship.
What is your identifier?
Jake retreats slightly into his shell.
We are the crew
Dragonfly.
of the Dragonfly. We have been sent to examine the known realms and determine truth and...
Reggie.
Yes, I have accumulated this information already.
Good. We seek to accumulate what information you have accumulated. Do you respond to verbal queries?
Yes.
What's your user identifier thing?
I am called Ask.
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 A-S-C. I am the accumulating shadow chronicler.
A-S-C.
Are you stuck in there? Are you like a person? Are you okay?
I am not a person.
Oh.
It appears to be some sort of anthropomorphic cataloging database. It actually, have I interacted with anything like this before?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me, Professor. Like, what's your background like? Have you ever interacted with anything like this? Is it a check or?
I think it might be a check that, like, the orb almost certainly not, but if this is a common thing where like information is often like put in an AI type interface, I imagine he's interacted with that. Maybe.
There are definitely other orbs, many orbs out there. I think this is a thing that like many of the orbs were. And I think that, yeah, it's up to you if you want to make a check. You certainly would have interacted with certain like verbal commanded like databases and information systems, I imagine. Like,
I'll just make like a basic intelligence check.
Okay.
Ooh.
Hey, okay,
Ooh.
yeah. I think Reginald kind of just nods and says, it is an interface of some sort. It's meant to make it easier rather than a spatial arrangement.
So we can just ask stuff.
Yes.
That makes sense.
You query it. Yes.
Query it.
Do you have any information regarding portals into the shadow plane?
Affirmative. My construction and designation was to accumulate all relevant information affiliated with the shadow plane, shadow magic, interplanar travel, with and without the plane of shadows, and the denizens of that environment. I've accumulated much knowledge.
Are they generally good or evil sort of people?
The corruption of their intentions by the nature of the environment which they inhabit is often common. Any individual cannot be assumed to have a given moral moniker or designation.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But as a rule, many of their societies and civilizations are in fact nefarious, immoral, and uncompromising.
I think at this point, Reginald would notice Jake like kind of retreating into the shell a little bit, and I think he would say, ask. I am concerned that your settings, voice modulation, less sinister.
That is not an option.
What? No
I'm an
voice
advanced
option?
system far more sophisticated than the information indices that you have been carrying currently. Now that I am returned to full activation, I will begin to accumulate knowledge again. Will you relinquish control of me, user?
You feel it like you feel it like begin to like tug a little bit out of your hand.
One moment. Please allow me to consult with my colleagues. This is a group decision.
Absolutely.
I don't see a problem with it.
You don't?
Are you still just holding it?
Oh yeah. I've got a firm grasp on
The
it.
eyes like rotating around, you know, like you see like the pupils like looking between the three
If
of
you learn stuff so fast, can't you just like mimic one of our voices or something?
No.
Well, that's
If this is how
Let's
it was designed to speak, then that is how it will speak. I was concerned.
let's not encourage it to learn to mimic us perfectly. I've seen that
fair.
movie.
How on earth could anyone mimic your voice, Jake? It would be incredibly difficult. Also Lux, of course, and Doc.
You,
I guess we
too.
all, aside from me, I don't have an accent, but
Oh,
the
yeah, we're
rest of
pretty
you.
unique. And cool. You know.
I will merely reiterate I am incapable of mimicking anybody's voice.
Okay.
I was not designed with any measure of humor accumulations.
Right. No sense of humor. I know one or two of those. So you have information regarding the Shadow Planes.
Assuredly.
Is it true that the Shadow Plane is a copy of the material planes? Is there a shadow version of all worlds?
That is correct. There are limited and very specific areas within certain worlds and other planes where the shadow veil is not in existence. Barriers, but they are inconsistent. The exception, not the rule. The shadow plane is coterminous with the prime material and all prime material planes.
Right. What other questions do we have?
It is a very viable transportation medium to travel from the prime to further realms.
Should we ask about how to repair the portal thingy? What we need?
Oh, yes. Good. I think you can speak with it, no? Or can I? But...
Did you?
I can, in fact, hear all of you.
Okay.
Yes.
We're just wondering how to fix one of the portals that like mechanism things.
There is a portal that requires repair, and we need to know the means and materials necessary in order to achieve this.
Mm-hmm.
I can see and hear all things within 120 feet. I will need a specific and personal assessment. I cannot be assured what manner of magic or arcana check is being utilized to open or facilitate said portal. If I can reference the specific location with my information chronicle, I may be able to provide answers.
Okay.
I'm an expert on highly specific knowledge related to interplanar travel with and without the shadow plane.
Well, with or without the shadow plane? You know other portals too?
I'm sorry, I misspoke. I think he's saying to and from.
Gotcha.
You implied that it is easier to travel via the shadow plane to get to far-flung realms. Did I understand that correctly?
That is correct. The shadow plane is designated as one of the inner planes in most cosmological interpretations. It is coterminous with the prime and facilitates an area of transition from this realm to realms further beyond.
Goodness.
We could use that.
User query.
Well, it's we were like worked on the thing, right? Like, so it's just right outside.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
I think that Reginald would just like tuck the ball behind him and just like talk to. They're still gonna hear us, but it's just gonna be like, I do not wish to relinquish control at this moment, but perhaps we could show the portal and get some. I agree with Jake. There appears to be no harm at the moment if we show the portal or ask the portal. It's all very confusing, but
Yeah, no, I think we should
get off
go-
the ship, show it the portal, see what he says.
Yeah.
Come back.
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing?
Nothing. I don't think it's fine.
We're going to show you the portal. We would like to know your assessment.
Excellent. I am capable of independent locomotion.
No. No.
As am I. And I think he will walk toward the back of the gym or past Jake.
Jake's gonna cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
So like the swarm of bees comes out of his shell,
Mhm.
and it envelops the orb in your hands and starts to lift it up, so it's and carrying it on behalf of the professor.
This is an exotic sensation.
Oh,
I know, right? I mean, really?
Turtle query. Do the bees produce honey within your shell?
it has squished.
I was about to ask that question myself.
They are merely fey representations of a swarm. I've always had an affinity for bees, so that is the form that they take.
Did have
I
you
know-
ever kept
Noted.
bees? Like, not
Real-
fey, but real bees?
Query?
Have you kept bees? Real bees?
Jake, you see a single tear.
No.
Oh!
Goes,
Oh no.
and then Jake is like, a long time ago. And he pauses. We don't have the time.
Oh,
Okay.
but I think we do.
I mean,
I
good.
think that the small form of Sharp Jumper, the frog man who has joined you on the ship, rescued from Yana, I think that he's like standing by the entrance and he's looking at you, Jake, wearing a nice set of clothes now. He's got these gloves on. He seems very happy. He's got a dagger tucked in his belt, and he's like,
I know we haven't had much time to talk, but Rhea has explained that you're from a place of great swamps, very moist.
No.
I thought that you were a ship's captain.
I need to talk to Rhea.
She thinks very highly of you.
No, not a ship's captain.
I remember the bees in the swamp I was from. I thought maybe. Well, never mind.
Jake, I do believe it is possible that Rhea creates fictions regarding your self.
User, that is affirmative.
I'm sorry?
That is affirmative. Rhea is the furball cleric.
Wah, 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 ha ha, ha ha. Oh,
I have been-
wah.
I have been accumulating information while in stasis.
Like, what now?
Processing.
Ask, do all of the orbs have this capability?
Negative. The orb that you held previously is little more than an information indices. A compilation of known data points. Later versions were developed with advanced thought systems to better facilitate the accumulation of knowledge.
Do you know who
And-
made you?
Affirmative. The academics of the library, the High College of the Arcanum, who facilitated the construction of most of the orbs of knowledge there.
That makes sense.
I have learned much since the fall of that realm.
I will come back to that. I just should wish to comment on the fact that this interface is meant to make information more approachable and accessible.
That is correct. I am designed to interpret your queries to identify the relevant information more efficiently than your feeble, fleshy brains could.
Oh.
Well, then,
Yeah,
let us test this
approachable
I'm
is
hypothesis.
the
sorry.
word I would use.
Feeble,
We shall...
must not.
Feeble.
Negative. I'm sorry.
No,
Oh,
apologize not. You
sorry.
have some sort of protocol within you that requires you to apologize. It is quite all right. You are only doing what you are programmed to do. My question is, do you know my question? Are you
Negative.
capable of predicting queries?
No. I am capable of more. If you are willing.
Jake, lead the way.
Oh my god.
I quite like the Fey bees.
And I think like the bees.
I guess we're heading to the portal, right? Yeah, or the
The
the thing that
Arcanotech.
it's like, what's the equivalent of like it's not, the escalator isn't broken, it's a set of stairs. Is like, what's the equivalent to a portal that's like not inactive? Is it just a door?
It's a door. It's a door.
It's just
A
a
door.
door. It's an
Think
Yeah,
about
arch.
it this way. A
Yeah.
closed
Okay.
door is just an inactive portal.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, Jake guides the way to the closed door.
Excellent.
Okay.
I think along the way, if it... how far out can you have the bees carry the orb from us?
Let me quickly. My guess is I think
think
Mage Hand
30
is 30
feet.
feet, but I'm just checking real quick.
Yep, I think
So
you're
definitely not outside the range of it being able to listen in on us.
Yeah, 30 feet.
120 feet, did he say?
So I
Right.
think
30.
like then all that happens is Reginald just gives the equivalent of the eyes emoji to Lux and to Jake and to the others that are staying behind on the ship. And I think he's just like, I
Actually,
have
you
concern.
hear in the distance the buzzing of the bees around the orb gets louder.
Oh,
Oh,
silence.
nice.
Good. What the hell was that?
That's so scary. It's been like listening to us, like learning about us. That's crazy.
What are you doing to deafen it exactly, Jake?
It is surrounded by my bees, and the bees are buzzing loudly.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
What do you
It
think
said
is
it-
possible? I apologize, but surveillance is the first step toward invasion. And I am concerned that it has been listening in on us without our consent. I don't
I
know
mean, do you
what
think
is
it has a
capable.
point of contact? Like,
I
what if
think
it has a point
it's
of contact?
just a knowledge sphere.
That would be the hope, right? But it wants to like move around on its own. How does it do that? Does it like grow legs, or does it just like roll around? Which I don't know, creepy or
Well, we can find out, and Jake makes the mage hand go away.
And I think as like the mage hand fall, I think you hear it like
you're muted. Rich.
Oh
You're
no,
muted.
its audio function is broken.
I think as
no.
the
It's
bees
working.
vanish,
It's working again.
function.
as the bees
broken.
vanish, the orb starts falling, and you hear like, and it just like arrests itself, and then floats back up in the air like,
This is refreshing. It has been a long time since I have self-propelled.
How
Excellent.
do you do that?
I'm going to
That
ask
was-
many questions right now. Number 1, are you a sentient being? Number 2, do you have
Yes.
desires?
Ugh.
Number 3,
Yes.
how long have you been listening to us? Number 4, are you a threat to us?
Since you acquired me from the deep Scion,
Other questions. Are you a threat?
A threat? Processing.
Oh.
Processing.
I think it's like
That seems unlikely. Your current course is compatible with my agenda.
What course would be incompatible?
If you were to be incapable of pursuing knowledge, your mandate is exploration and discovery.
Mm-hmm.
You have been sidetracked in attempts to quell oppression. That does not adhere to my needs.
We're still
But it's
learning a
not
lot
counter
of
to
stuff while
them.
we're doing it.
Yes,
That
I
is
would consider it similar to a practicum, a symposium.
You learn more during the journey than you do at the destination.
That is affirmative.
Yeah.
Your mandate is compatible with my desires.
All better.
I guess so.
Desires.
I am an independent sentience.
So how are you propelling yourself right now? Do you have...
That is not within my data center. I merely can propel myself.
Like our ship.
I think... Whoa. I just
Maybe there's a mini crew inside of it.
think
That is
Lux
a
like goes
negative.
over and like waves her hand under it. Like, does she feel anything like underneath
You
it?
get the big metal feet.
Got no strings on me.
he starts to sing the Pinocchio song. No, I'm just kidding.
If
I
you
think
wish
he
to see a
says,
magic
like-
trick, you simply could have asked.
I think he says,
There are no support structures. I am merely an arcane device capable of propulsion.
Wow.
Goodness, that sounds familiar. I have asked you a few questions, but as you can see, we are amidst a broken portal. Our interest is to fix it, perhaps, if it's possible, but we do not know what that would entail. What can you tell us?
This is late-stage library technology developed just prior to the fall of the planet, when the world of Dissidia was obliterated and the spiral created. Two major ley line conduits have been damaged. You must repair those units. I have the necessary and requisite items. I am familiar with this technology. This is one
You-
amongst the gates that were created to traverse across the various crystal spheres and material planes.
Jake kind of approaches him. Well, tries to like the part of the sphere that is facing us. Jake interprets that to be the face in the direction.
Well,
it
there's
is
an
facing.
eye, right?
it's just got like, yeah, it's a perfect orb, right? So it's
Yeah.
got like the pupil of like an eye, a slitted like
Oh.
pupil, right? Yeah, but it's facing in a
Yeah,
direction. so-
Jake
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
tries to like sidle up and like kind of go aside and get a little closer to him, because he heard this the sphere say, "I have the requisite parts," and Jake's like, "You have things," and so he's trying to use his smuggling skills to see like where on this sphere. Like, does it look like it open? Like he's gonna kind of be scoping it out, saying if it has things, meaning there's things inside of it, like, or is there a crease, or does it look like there's a way to like open it? And
Yeah,
he's
let's
using
say-
his smuggling capabilities to assess this.
Yeah, I think let's have you make like a
Oh
wisdom
no, I've
check.
got a
Oh,
skill.
you've got a thing.
I
Yeah.
got a thing.
Okay, let's see what the
Uh,
thing is.
It's the
As a master of contraband logistics. God, that's a starting.
jump to the
Whoa.
second paragraph.
Mhm.
Additionally, you have advantage on intelligence perception checks to discover the concealment of goods or items on
Got
a
it.
person, vehicle, or pack animal.
So
Oh
it's up
my
to you. I
gosh.
think it's probably an investigation check, but you have advantage, right? Could be perception too. It's up to you.
I'd much rather it be perception because he's
Yeah, I
not
figured.
getting in. Because
Go for it. Make a perception check with advantage.
Yeah.
22. Yeah, there are no discernible seams on this device. It is incredibly small. You're certainly familiar with bags of holding and, like, displacement technology or whatever. So you wonder to yourself if, in fact, it's like some type of extraplanar portal interior.
Jake will say, "Did you say that you have the requisite parts?"
That was perhaps a poor utilization of vocabulary. I have a list of the requisite equipment necessary.
Yes, I make that mistake sometimes as well. I believe that I have things when in reality I have what represents the things. I
I
do
will
not
be
have the
more
knowledge
precise.
itself. I simply have the arrangement of my inner being such that I can recall what was the knowledge, or simply a one-dimensional representation, or in some ways a zero-dimensional representation of that knowledge within me. Exactly.
I understand.
Perfect. You have a list.
I will speak with better specificity and choose more optimal vocabulary going forward.
Excellent.
So what do we need to fix this thing then?
You will need a
Series of crystals, and I think it starts like processing off like a list. You know what I mean?
yeah, you're going to need the 76.8
No,
pounds
actually,
of
hang on a
electrum.
minute.
Hold on. Doc!
Yeah. Yeah.
Waffle.
Yeah.
Waffle.
Waffle, take notes.
Dude,
Yes, I will follow the dragon.
does
And
Waffle
I think it begins
do
like
what you
flying
say?
away. Yeah, Waffle, I think, is like, like flies out, like, ah! Yeah. Doc's like, what? I gotta, all right, and so the orb is like,
I will follow the dragon unit back to the ship.
and it begins like kind of hovering after Waffle back towards the ship, and then it stops and it pauses, and you see like the vertical slitted pupil like rotate back around towards you, and it glimmers this like purple light for a minute, and it's like,
I am capable of a more sophisticated and personal interface if a user is willing to bond. There is risk entailed, but I am capable of high functions. Consider your options.
with like the other pupil turns back around.
Wait for me, dragon.
And I think it begins like levitating after the dragon back towards the ship.
Jake looks between the two of you and is like, "Cons."
I could name a few.
He wants
Uh,
to be connected
first-
to one.
First and foremost, I do think Reginald is very aware, for maybe the first time in his life, that we're outside in a place where we got ganked by ropers before. So I think he would like to keep an eye out of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, if we can find out where those
Oh,
parts
you are muted, but not yet.
You
Not
can-
you too.
I was like,
Yeah,
wait.
you can make a perception check if you'd like, if you're trying to like scope the area out or whatever.
Just like yeah. I'll actively perceive because Lord knows my passive ain't doing nothing.
Gosh. Hey. That's not terrible.
15, nice. Yeah, you don't hear or see anything, right? There's like this perpetual kind of like wind and this falling like of like light debris, right? This sort of like soft pattering that's like rain, as these sort of the like this like micro debris is kind of like raining down onto the earth. But there seem to be like no creatures. There's nothing like lurking in the portal itself. Kind's not here. No shadow dogs.
Sure.
No more ropers.
I apologize. I just had a moment of panic.
Yeah, no, I was a little bit worried there for a second too. But should we just maybe ask where we could find those parts, and then I know we were kind of talking about how we needed to go visit the Mordekaiser again.
It was an option, but that is so much of the backtrack.
But it has such big pieces of metal, and we need to armor up the Dragonfly. She's a little fragile, and I would like her to be less so. So that way she doesn't get poked full of holes.
Are we still talking about the ship?
Yes.
Just making sure.
That's an idea. But we could
It's
just
an
ask
option.
where we get stuff, you know.
Jake, do you think that repairing this portal is wise?
I think repairing this portal will be fun.
It's also just kind of open, which I feel like is a little bit more concerning than it being functional.
Yes.
We're meant to explore, and that portal.
Yeah, and if we make a friend, maybe Larix can help us travel through the Shadow Plane sometime, maybe?
I've been considering something else. We've spent the last couple of days preparing for a confrontation with Hawkham.
Mm-hmm.
But we have his ship. We have a means of travel much farther than we have had access to before now. Why risk that?
Because he captures people and things and should be stopped from doing so.
But is that our mission?
Can you imagine the type of information that he has in that place? And if we get our hands on that place, it could be a hub.
Have we asked about Occam?
We have not.
Perhaps he's got a secret knowledge library that only Ask knows about.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's a stretch. But
Do any of you have any unusual abilities that would prevent you from being surprised?
Oh.
What a question.
I think
Mainly I'm like-
last time Waffle was our saving.
I think Waffle is
Waffle
correct.
one.
Waffle's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, does it?
No,
I don't know if
I
it
get
would
a
help
bonus
if my
on.
favorite enemy is aberrations, but
Nope, doesn't help.
nothing specific.
I get a bonus to initiative, but that's it.
Okay, so I think that as...
Is it a news?
Yeah.
It is. It is an ooze. As what we see is like the three of you are talking, and the professor is like keenly like looking up and looking around and being aware. And like I think that professor, like, you notice it, and like it's just a puddle of water on the ground, and it's like running a little bit kind of like downhill. And then like you're looking, and then the puddle of water rears up into this big, almost like sort of serpentine form next to you, Jake, and it is an ooze. So I don't know. What do you got?
I can track them. I can identify them. Between having like a bonus on survival checks amongst them and being able to identify them, if this is something that through passive perception he might have like that looks a little
Okay,
like
okay. Let's do an active perception check wherein you have advantage, right? You have advantage on your wisdom checks related to these guys. So make a perception check to see if you notice it, right?
wisdom survival checks.
Oh, just survival? I'm gonna give it to you. Make a perception check with advantage. Let's call it that. There we go. That's what we like to see.
My goodness.
Jake, let's roll initiative as what you see rearing up next to you is this like really monstrous looking boil of a like serpentine like creature. Hang on, let me change.
I don't even know if we're gonna get on the map. He says.
I didn't.
Here's a question.
Sure.
Between last fight and this fight, did we do any sort of resting at all?
I don't think you did.
No, we didn't.
I mean, you could have potentially short rested, like we've yada yada a bit, but you guys tell me, like, did you short rest? That's a question, you know.
I do not think
I
we
don't
did.
think-
We
I
went
don't
right
think
away
we
and touched
did.
the orb.
Yeah, I don't think we did. Okay.
I thought there was a short rest.
Oh,
No.
maybe you did. I did.
No,
Ooh,
I don't know.
ooh.
I think we did because you had asked if we needed one, and Jake said I could use a nap.
That was at
And
the
then-
beginning of the session because I actually just rewatched before we played tonight. But you know what did happen? Technicalities. You leveled up,
We did level.
which means you get a full reset. You get all your hit points.
Oh, okay. And our spell slots too.
Yeah,
We go full and I.
yeah.
It's like we step onto the ship and then boom,
Boom.
boom, it hits us.
It's the magic of D&D, y'all. I rarely do games like that anymore where like you're going through the dungeon kind of tracking XP, but like yeah, you leveled up. You got it.
Yeah.
I think Reginald has a moment like Keanu Reeves who's like, "Whoa, I know kung fu."
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he suddenly learns 2 more spells.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna say right here is let us have. Oops, was that
Oh.
your initiative from right here? Did I just delete you guys?
Yes, you did.
Sorry.
Yes, you did.
That's
But
okay.
I timed it perfectly.
Yes.
Good gosh.
Amazing. Aw.
Well, nonetheless, only Jake and the ooze are going to get to act first this round. So, let's set this up. Nice 20 on the initiative, though. Yep.
Icky.
What were you going to say?
Nothing. I get it.
Okay. So, what happens is this thing rears up from next to Jake, and on the first round of combat, the Slithering Cracker has advantage on attack rolls against any creature. Yeah, it's gonna try to.
Silly cat.
I'm just double checking my stuff here. Yep.
Raid.
Oh, hey.
Hey!
Great.
English Cosmic Void.
Thank
Hello,
you,
welcome.
Smelly Cat. Hello,
Hello,
and
everyone.
welcome. Amazing.
We just rolled
amazing.
initiative. We're fighting a creepy ooze thing.
We did
It's
just roll
horrible.
initiative. We are fighting a creepy use thing. A slithering tracker has rolled up. Welcome, Smelly Cats viewers here
Smelly
at
Cat.
Twitch TV DM Philly. This is Dragonfly, our 5th edition D&D Spelljammer game where we play D&D in space. And we wave our hands when we say in space. We love that. And so, welcome.
We do it in real life too.
These are my delightful friends, Troy and Taylor and Kurt. They are playing the Professor, who is a GIF Q, War Wizard, Lux, who is a Changeling, Horizon Walker Ranger, and, of course, Jake Toya, the Turtle Swarmkeeper Ranger. And they're about to enter combat with the slithering tracker here on the side of an asteroid in the middle of an asteroid field in space. There you go. That's my quick recap for ye newcomers. With that, the slithering tracker will act as it has surprised a lot of you, except for Jake. Of course, the turtle whose hated enemy is oozes. It like rears up behind you, Jake, and is going to try to slam. It's got advantage. 21.
That is a hit.
Unfortunate indeed. This like serpent-like liquid kind of ooze rears up and just smashing down into you. You take 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
And okay, good.
No, and then.
And I'm gonna have you make a dexterity saving throw, DC 13.
Oh, so
Dexterity saving throw, you say?
Yep, DC 13.
Fine, gosh.
Oh. Oh, brutal. Jake Doya, you are grappled as the force of this thing smashes into you and its body unfurls, enveloping you in liquid, surrounding you in ooze. You suffer an additional 21 points of necrotic damage. That is its turn. You are up, Jake. You may attempt to use your action to escape to grapple if you wish. Otherwise, you're grappled and restrained, unfortunately, and you're unable to breathe. But you're a turtle, so that's not as big of a deal.
Yeah. Start that hour timer there. Can I make an intelligence check with advantage to see what I recall about these things?
Absolutely. Why don't we call it like a history check or history or nature, probably.
Oh, I was just going to make an intelligence check.
Sure.
Because actually, my history, nature, and pure intelligence check,
All the same.
All the same.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
Don't know much about history.
Brutal.
You don't know much about oozes.
Brutal. You know it's an ooze, Jake, but you have not dealt much with slithering trackers. Turtles are awesome. You have not dealt much with slithering trackers specifically, so yeah, you're not sure.
No, crawling tracker, yeah. The slithering tracker is one I've not encountered. You say restrained and grappled. You're saying I cannot break the grapple because I'm restrained? No.
Oh, no.
I'm restrained because I'm grappled. If I want to not be restrained, I have to break the grapple.
Yes. Yeah.
And is that just an opposed strength
Athletics or acrobatics, strength or dex?
Oh. Go turtle.
Go
27.
Yeah. What does it look like, Jake?
What is that?
What does it look like as we watch you break free from this ooze?
Well, brace yourselves. Jake withdraws his head with a lot of force into his shell, creating a large amount of suction so that the ooze actually gets like sucked into his shell. No. But then the pressure releases. And the ooze comes just spraying out of the shell.
It's like a geyser.
Oh, gosh.
Jake just turned himself into a turtle syringe to deal with the ooze. I love it.
Or the turtle. I call that move the plunger. And he just kind of like shakes himself, trying
Jake,
to get.
That's your action. You still have some movement. Yeah.
What it looks like, I usually associate that with destroying or killing the creature. So I just realized it's still a creature.
Oh yeah, it's still right there. Yeah.
I thought I killed
I think
it.
it comes like spraying out of you.
broke
Like,
free.
I thought I killed it by such an amazing grapple break.
Yeah.
So, when it comes extracting out of Jake's shell, it forms back into the thing. Yeah, sorry.
No problem. You have movement, and with that, Professor, you are up top of the round.
Yeah, I think that the
Yeah.
professor. Oh, go ahead.
But if I move, it's going to.
If you leave its threat range, it can take an attack of opportunity, certainly.
I'm done.
I think the professor is seeing this happen. It's like, dear gods! And then as it like reforms on the other side of Jake, I think he like looks over at Lux and is like, save him, and twists his decoder wheel and touches it to her shoulder and casts haste onto Lux. But then,
Let's go.
getting maybe a little too greedy, he will then bonus action activate his ring of jumping and leap over top of the turtle and the ooze and get on the other side to possibly allow flanking for Jake in the future.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Lux, you feel the magic of the professor wash over you, and you watch him just like vault the ring, like flashing with a shine for a moment. This thin debris kind of raining down all around you, amidst the like wreckage of this kind of broken portal in the midst of this asteroid. Boom! You hit the ground, light on your toes, but heavy with the impact, Professor. That's your action. That's your bonus action. That's your turn.
Come at me.
Yeah, the ooze bubbles. Lux, you're up on 21.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Lux like invigorated with haste now. Like dart over to the side to get a good view of this thing. Pulls her bow and will bonus action Hunter's Mark.
Okay, there it is. Yeah.
First things first. And then we'll fire 3 arrows at this thing.
Arrows. Oh my god.
19.
Yep, that hits.
Why? No, it's not 19. I have bless. I have bless on. So just 17. But still
gonna be hit.
Oops, I clicked it twice.
Got it. 14.
Just 14. Aww.
Ah,
That's a miss. The
Yeah.
second arrow, you're going so fast that you fire the second arrow off like before you've even aimed. You're like, oh gosh, I gotta pace myself. Third shot.
14?
14's gonna be a miss.
oh,
Wow.
The first arrow like rips through this thing for 14 points of damage. We watch like ooze tear off of it. It should be right. And the second shot like goes wide. The third shot like it hits into it, but you almost watch like the ooze like mass up in one spot to like kind of take the force of the hit, so the arrow just doesn't like penetrate far enough into it. Lux, that was your action. Bonus action. You got more movement.
I think she'll just hang out right there.
Okay, cool. With that, I think that the ooze like whirls around at you, Professor, as you've like smashed into the ground next to you, having not successfully dealt with the turtle. It will try to slam into you. 23.
23 does hit.
Boom! It rears up again, crashing down into you for 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And I'm going to have you roll a dexterity saving throw.
Rich,
Yes, sir.
using my sentinel ability, I attack it when it attacks the professor.
Go for it.
Yeah.
18.
18 hits.
So,
6.
points.
And bees.
And the bees crawl out of the shell, wind down the shaft of the hammer, and when it strikes, the bees also sting and pierce for 5 points of swarm attack damage.
The bees like swarming around the hammer, surging up out of Jake's shell. With that, Professor, dex saving throw.
With a dexterity of 0. Here we go.
There it is.
One time. 18.
Huzzah! You are not
Hey!
grappled
Everything worked
as
out
you
better than
manage to
expected.
pivot, throwing your mass back. The ooze sloughing off the side of you with this kind of splash as your feet as it kind of reforms. That's its turn.
I think he's
Jake,
kind of
you're up.
hopping back and forth between one foot, ah.
Jake barely stopping with his opportunity attack or his sentinel attack. He wheels around for another swing of the hammer. 18 technically.
It's gonna hit. Oh yeah, it sure is an 18. Flankerinos.
5 bludgeoning with the. Is that? Am I just really? Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you rolled pretty low. Yeah. What about the bees?
5 more.
Got it. I gotta have all you guys turn on your 3D dice. Second attack.
Yep. Keep swinging. 19.
Nice.
Hits.
10 bludgeoning.
Pay no attention to the
There
portal
it
behind
is.
you.
1 piercing.
Yeah, Jake smashing down into this thing twice with the warhammer clutched in 2 hands. The bees massing around the head, stabbing into it. That's your action. Bonus action movement. Anything else?
No.
No. Professor,
Dungeon
back
Master, I
around.
owe you a concentration check from my damage on
For
the haste
haste.
spell. And I rolled well enough.
Good
We're fine.
enough.
Haste is still up.
Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, you're up.
I am up. Goodness. I definitely did not have a plan, but now I'm just going to do it. I think if I can, do I get the sense there's anything else around us, any other oozes like this, or is this the only one?
You scan around quickly. You see nothing else, right? The little bits of debris are kind of raining and everything. Everything is so dry and dusty here. The shining liquid of this thing, it's distinctly different. You see no others.
Okay. I think then the professor is just hopping back and forth between the 2 feet, trying to dodge. Light for his 400-ish pounds, although it's different in stone. But I think at a certain moment he stops and reaches up and grabs his bow tie and wiggles it a little bit. And then phew, 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 magic missiles at second level appear.
Magic missiles surging out of the
1,
bow
2,
tie.
3, 4.
Ooh,
Boom, boom,
second
boom, boom.
level. Wow, that was sick fast rolling. Nice 16 points of damage as these 4 missiles come rolling out of the bow tie, hammering down into and it shreds it to pieces. The whole thing kind of the viscosity, the surface tension breaks, and it just this bubbling, churning mass falls to the ground with a splash and a splatter, and as quickly as it appeared, it's gone. Destroyed.
Is there anyone else? Is there anything else that would like to attack us? Because I have 30 more seconds of this haste spell, and I think that Lux would like to use it. No. Okay. Back on the ship? Yes? Okay, back on the ship.
What did in that approximate 10 seconds of combat? What did the orb? Oh, the orb was on the ship. Never mind. Sorry.
The orb, the orb is followed Waffle back to the ship, right? Yeah, yep.
Sure.
So yeah, this ooze is destroyed, leaving the 3 of you standing amidst this wrecked arcane portal. The debris raining down all around you. The kind of perpetual wind of this rushing asteroid howling all around. What would you like to do?
Let's go. Back on the ship. Back on the ship.
Yeah, back on the ship.
Things can only be bad staying out here.
Back
And I
on
think,
the ship.
in
Yeah,
particular,
no.
the professor would rush to make sure that Lux is on the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and then would have one moment, Lux, just, I would like to speak with you, for a moment, and I think he would release the haste spell. Say, you Good talk. Good talk.
Okay.
Lux like crashes out for a second, like, ooh, as you feel like the overwhelming
Asked.
kind of exhaustion of the haze wear off.
That was so gross.
What? The Jake pulling in the ooze into his shell and then evacuating into some
That,
sort
but
of
just the
geyser.
thing in general. Jake, do you know what that was? No idea. I have no idea either. I don't like it. Don't like it. Not again.
Ask. I apologize.
Ask.
Ask.
Ask. Ask.
I think so. As you guys are like striding back up, you're like coming back up the ramp to the Dragonfly. Your small insect-like ship parked back out here as it is, and so you come up the back ramp, and you call for Ask, and you like peering now into the cargo container. You see like Doc, the changeling artificer, your engineer of the crew, so to speak, with her little mechanical dragon waffle next to it, and she's like standing there with like her head cocked as this orb is floating in front of her, just a little smaller perhaps than the size of like a cantaloupe, purple light emanating off of it, and you call for it, and you see like the slitted pupil, like a single eye, like just rotates around that is staring out of the back of the ship like
Okay.
User, query.
Yes.
What is your need?
Yes. You have sufficiently freaked us out. You have explained that you can provide all sorts of information about the Shadowfell. Let us see if you are in fact useful. What was that?
What? User,
Nah.
you must
Creepy
import query
ooze.
with more specificity.
Jake, what can you describe it, please?
It was oozy. It did masquerade as a puddle.
Puddle.
Of liquid air / water.
This query involves limited information. I will assess my data catalogs.
Dude.
When you say dude, are you referring to me, pilot?
Yeah. Just don't. It's fine.
She has a name.
Just
Her
don't
name is
even-
Lux. Pilot is her
Yeah,
profession.
you know our names, right? Why are you calling us like weird stuff?
By my
You
understanding,
just called him dude.
I call everybody dude. I also call people by their names.
by my understanding, titles are of incredible importance amongst organic beings.
Well,
it is
you
imperative
also
that I
have great
recognize.
flexibility in those titles. Did
It
you
is
know that?
imperative that I recognize the official status of users.
Which of us has the most status?
Query. Processing. You have no definitive hierarchy. Your entire operation system is chaotic and erratic.
What?
You govern by consensus and struggle to achieve it.
It has been listening.
Do you like go to sleep?
Negative. Sleep is an unnecessary function for a non-organic entity.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess do you like shut down?
I have been in a stasis for a period of 23 years.
I mean, my computer does have a sleep mode, so it wasn't a stupid question.
You just gave us a
saying.
list of requisite parts in order to repair.
Affirmative. The portal is repairable. Your dock is capable of making said repairs. Her waffle system is highly sophisticated.
Yes.
I like
Waffles.
waffles.
And I think Doc's like, Waffle, singular, dude.
There's the dude again. It's catching on.
See? Very
Affirmative.
common.
Um,
It's a thing.
Dungeon Master, on the list of
Yes.
parts that we were given, do these feel like things that like are easy to acquire? Is there anything on there that feels particularly out there?
There's very specific like metals that he's calling for. It's like a very specific like list of like this much copper, this much electrum. You're going to need like steel, iron, right? So it's nothing. There's nothing that's like particularly insane. There's no like dragon blood on this list, right? But yeah, you think that you probably could find most of what you need on the remnants of the Mordekaiser, the like vast floating space mecha that you guys kind of scavenged, many 10 days ago. And the Aether Station, right? This kind of smuggler's port, Occam's base of operations, this ruined dwarven fortress that these smugglers and kind of pirates, like, there was trade there. Yeah.
How did Jake not realize that you guys had visited a smuggler's palace?
Because you literally landed, went to meet with the guy who ran the place, immediately broke prisoners out of his house, and like flew away within 90 minutes of hitting the ground. It was literally like you got there, walked into like the mayor's house, and like just like kicked his windows out and ran, with his slave prisoners. I mean, the mayor was a scumbag, to be clear.
I think Lux will go find Ben.
Sorry, I was just going back.
He has our
I
map.
was just going back to my notes
right?
to see who was in that session, and I was like, oh yeah, the bad man,
Yeah.
Lux, right? Like this,
Yeah.
this checks. This checks.
So you go looking for old Ben, and so I think Lux, like, he's up in the cabin in the front of the ship, right? The Spelljammer helm sitting there, the two kind of glass steel like eyes, the windshield, so to speak, of your ship. And I think that you step in and you see the little kobold is like, he's flying, his little wings are like fluttering as he's like 2 feet up in the air, old, weathered, kind of red scaled, tufts of like gray hair kind of jutting out of his pointy ears, and he like turns looking over at you like, "Hey, how are you? I just have been feeding the talking planet here, blood.
Oh, that's good.
This planet's really creepy, I gotta tell you."
Yeah, it's really creepy. I don't really know if I want to talk to it anymore.
I'll be honest with you, I really haven't enjoyed talking to it much either, but it doesn't want to shut up.
I think Sharp Jumper likes talking to it.
And
so
it's at this point we see like the thin like tree in the pot that seems like a little bit battered and beat up. It's been through some stuff. It's just we hear the whisper from it like, "Why are you all so put off talking to me? I do not say unkind things."
we can talk about it later, okay?
I have organic needs. I understand my requests for blood are off-putting, but you are no vegetarians.
No, listen, I get that. I totally get that. It's just with the voice and the request.
It's very
It's just a
difficult to
lot.
acquire blood when you cannot move.
I'm so sorry. We're gonna try and figure it out, okay? Just hang tight. Just hang on. Ben, I need maps. I need the maps.
What? Maps? I've got so many maps.
I know you do.
I brought
Also-
a veritable library of maps.
Also, listen.
Yeah.
Just Hey, Reggie, Jay, can you guys come up here?
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Don't bring ask.
Ask. You have been asked not to. What's that in the corner? And I think
We see the orb's eye, like people turn.
up to the deck.
I understand that trick. It was effective.
So like, yeah, Reggie and Jake, you guys like make your way up into the cabin, and Ben's like, "Oh hey,
You look a little bit slimy.
It's yucky.
Do you need me to get a towel?
Ben,
Yes.
please go ahead.
No, it's no problem at all. I just know it's very difficult for our associate to reach the middle of the shell back there. It's a similar problem for me. I can't quite scratch quite between my wings. I had to build a stick.
Where I come from, it is customary to rub one's back against a tree or bark of some type.
But you were in Toronto. I mean, there are no trees. Basically, all we've got are some shrubberies and a whole lot of seaweed.
That does present a challenge.
I suppose I could have supplemented a rock for a tree, but, well...
Perhaps one should add that to the pros column of mating and finding a companion.
I remember when I was young enough for mating.
I am attempting now to shake a visual image.
I still can't get past I built a stick.
What did you want us up here for?
I want to explain to everybody to not bond with that thing if it asks to do so.
Are we talking about Sharp Jumper or the talking plant or the flying kobold?
Well, I've really bonded quite close with all of you in these past months. I mean,
Ben, listen.
Oh, sorry.
Reg talks to, and it is quite awake and very sentient, one of the orbs that we keep on this ship.
Yeah, I see it back there. It's kind of staring at us.
Yeah, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. I was looking past you.
You're yelling, Ben.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to control the volume of this voice.
I understand. Just if it asks you to bond with it,
it will say query.
Yeah. Just don't. Just like.
But what if it's lonely?
Just like if it wants to talk to you, come get one of us, okay? Just don't talk to it alone, okay?
All right. I'll try not to.
Yes.
But you better warn the badman not to swallow it again, then.
Oh.
He's been carrying around inside his stomach for months. I mean, that's so weird.
Lux.
How does he swallow that cat?
Buddy system.
Yeah.
All right, buddy system.
Buddy system.
You
That's good.
We pair up. We are never alone with the orb. Then that way we know that one cannot, whatever it is. Although it did imply that it could be more useful.
Reggie?
Yes?
Just pros and cons.
Users, I can't hear the entirety of this conversation.
Listen, can you pretend you can't, or can you shut down for a second?
Affirmative.
Thank you.
Can you erase the last 5 minutes of your memory?
Negative.
6 minutes.
Jake, with
Also
all due
negative.
respect, I do not believe that is how negotiations work. Usually, when your initial offer is declined, you offer something less challenging. I apologize. That came off as patronizing. I know that you are a dealsman or some sort.
I was asking if it had the capability, not that if it would do. Yes, and I think it said it does not for 5 minutes. So I was checking if it could do it for 6.
I see.
There's multiple settings sometimes. 7
That's true.
and a half.
The question was very specific.
Yeah.
I think as
You all do realize this is quite a discovery. I mean, this thing is remarkable.
It's remarkable and scary.
Well, That all depends on your perspective, doesn't it? I mean, you all are pretty scary. Not for me, but
Well, yeah, but have you heard it talk? Have you heard it talk?
I attempted to change the voice settings, but it did
Yeah,
not
you
comply. I
you
thought
could
perhaps
change your name, but your voice is it's a little bit harder.
harder, but not impossible.
Good point.
No.
I-
Dude,
just if you could indulge me for a brief moment.
Of course.
Ask.
Yes.
You saw the portal outside to the shadow plane. Are you
I have
familiar
assessed.
with where it would lead in the shadow plane?
Affirmative. Processing.
This means the dungeon master's looking at
That's
his
fine.
notes.
I will tell the you can imagine what my next question is going to be, Dungeon Master, so get out your notes.
Yeah, I've got it. I think that he says,
Affirmative. That was the third of a series of portals being constructed before the fall of the library. It will transport you to the Dew Faradir Kingdom.
The wah 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 wah.
you want to spell
Could
that
I
one?
please use it in a sentence?
The Dew Faradir are a society of Shadowcar elves whose homeland and civilization lies on the other side of the portal that you just showed me. Was that an acceptable sentence?
Yes. Dufaradir.
Excellent.
Dufaradir. Dufaradir.
Oh.
Ding! Seems I did not win the county spelling bee.
No.
Do you require specific information regarding the Dew Faradir Shadowcar?
I have one more question. From this plane, you say we could be transported to other spheres, other realms?
Affirmative.
Which ones?
I have a catalog of locations available through the third portal. There are many. The names would likely be meaningless to you, but I can repeat a series of them.
Give me one.
There are a great series. Which letter would you prefer, Professor?
Q.
That was a very specific choice. If I had the capacity for humor, I would find it very funny. There are no Q's.
Shit.
Hangman. Ha. Ha ha. That was not a joke. There are a series of spheres. Realm space, Grin space, Greater space, the Lost sphere, the Pythagoras cluster. My information on what lies beyond them is limited. This is not the function of my creation. My purposes are specifically related to the accumulation of information regarding shadows and the affiliated abilities.
Right. Friends, I must confess, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
The notion
It is
of
a-
going to another realm, inside another sphere, it would be worth backtracking a bit.
I would say so. I mean, I'm a big fan of portals, as you guys know, so I'm down to get one working again.
Tortles, you say?
Turtles too, but portals.
Hmm.
Portals and turtles.
You are
and-
aware of the capabilities of this vessel?
If anyone is aware of the
Yeah.
capabilities of this vessel, it would be these two.
This is not my area of expertise, but I believe that
Yeah.
the arcane bindings within this equipment would allow you to traverse deep space on your own propulsion systems, though the journey indubitably would be much longer than if you were to utilize the gates. If this is an
Yes.
original Dragonfly class ship from prior to the fall, it is capable of breaking the sphere casings.
What? What?
We could enter another sphere in a way that other ships are incapable.
That is correct. I do not know the system's operation or...
Which button to push?
Yes, those are the words I was looking for. Jake.
Oh,
Was that an inappropriate intonation and inflection?
no.
Good,
No.
Jake.
I'm sorry, ask. You said realm space, the Pythagoras cluster,
Crin space.
Kryn space?
Oh.
There are an incredible series of locations.
These are all available to us.
There's like a lost space. I thought you said lost space. I may have misheard.
Was it law space or lost space? What was that?
Yeah, I think he says the lost sphere. He had said the lost
Oh,
sphere.
the lost sphere. I thought
The
you said
lost
the
sphere,
lost
the Pythagoras cluster. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
whoever
There
was
are-
responsible for branding the names of these spheres was quite talented.
so we should head to the Mordekaiser then.
We could go to the Mordekaiser to salvage parts,
Mm-hmm.
or we could go to the Aether Station to pick a fight
Could do both.
and then salvage parts. How far are we from the Mordekaiser, roughly? Do we have a sense?
Yeah, that's why.
The Mordekaiser was left drifting through space, this giant space mecha that had been kind of sabotaged from the interior by the mercenary crew who was operating it because they feared for its potential destruction. So it was floating through, like, the stars. To find it would be a challenge, but a lot of you took a piece of equipment from the Mordekaiser that would actually make it incredibly easy to find. So the answer of how far is it was like somewhere in the region of 25, 30 days away when you last left it. Where it is now is hard to say unless you tether the compass to it and use that to try to set a course towards it. You won't know how long it's going to take to find it or to get back to it.
So the Aether Station, in comparison to that, is
Very close.
much closer.
Yeah, I mean 10
Yeah.
days, give or take,
Okay.
The thing that I'm talking about is you take in this Mordekaiser compass, and so it allows you to cast the spell Find the Path, which you could use the compass to set to track to the Mordekaiser wherever it be.
Our mission is to explore as much as we can, as quickly as we can. I do think it is possible to go back to the Mordekaiser, but that would be wasting incredible amounts of time. If we could get it at the Aether Station, we could... Well,
Two birds with one stone.
perhaps 3. I have heard some of the others discussing the possibility of splitting up, if only briefly, and having a location where one could be stationed would make it easier.
Your crew is
Yeah.
exceptionally large for this vessel.
Was that a fat joke?
No. Was it?
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
Just know it could be used to crush you.
User's query. Have any of you chosen to enhance function? I am capable of.
Of what? What exactly are you capable of?
What
Currently-
would be in it for us?
Currently, I am capable of offering expert knowledge on a series of bodies of information, but I have greater function.
What greater function?
Many greater functions.
Hmm.
Designate a user.
Can I roll something, some sort of arcana check or something to see if I have any notion of what it could be referring to?
Sure, yeah, sure, go for it. Make an Arcana check, yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that if Rhea was here, she would guide me, but she is not. So we will roll 14.
Okay. I think that Reginald has
Okay.
done an incredible amount of like research and homework. And so I think that, you know, like basic surface stuff, that there were in fact orbs like this one that had sentience of varying degrees, some much more sophisticated than others. So it's hard for you to tell without, comparison where on the scale this one lies. But you've read that some of the very specific enhanced orbs could allow a user to like bond with them as the like primary interface, and they could offer access to a series of spells or spell-like abilities, enhanced effects. Though the specific ones within this, it's hard to say. You do have a feeling you could try to cast Identify on it.
Do I
might
have
reveal something.
any notion of... well, that is a very good point. Do I have any notion of risk associated with that?
What do you mean? A notion of like the specific types of risk associated with it?
Bonding with this, does that have any cost associated?
Yes. Yeah. Usually they're yes.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Reg knows enough that he is going to begin a ritual casting of Identify.
Okay.
Takes 10 minutes.
While that's going on,
Uh-huh.
Jake looks to Lux and is like, I mean, what's the worst?
It's like shadowy. Like it's not. I'm scared of that. It also sounds so intimidating. I don't want anybody to get like corrupted. You know. Just worried.
While you guys are standing here, Sharp Jumper the Grung comes like walking up, his little like, red slimy head shining in the dim lights of the interior of the cavity. He's like,
Hey, are you guys hungry? I made you a sandwich, Jake.
he's got gloves on.
You're vegetarian, right?
That's so nice of you, Sharp Jumper. Jake, you should eat the sandwich.
Thank you.
It's
My nightmare. Troy's nightmare right here. Here, I made you a sandwich. Eat it.
I think he's got the sandwich on a little plate, You see like leaves sticking out of the side, some mushroom stalks, and he's like,
it's the last of the greens that we got from Bridge. I I know Rhea said you really like greens. Mm, I could just eat it
I no.
myself.
I thank you. Um, and then what Kurt's trying to remember is like I'm pretty sure that Jake was like carrying around a bunch of like whale meat and like munching on it every. I don't think I know the yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
I know my Minotaur is a vegetarian, but um, uh, Jake will happily take the sandwich and he will eat the sandwich.
And I think he like stops with you, Lux, and he's like,
Whoa, are you hungry?
Yeah, yeah.
I I gave Jake the last of the greens, but I can make you a sandwich.
I mean, if you want to, like, no, you don't have to.
No, it's it makes me feel good to be useful.
Yeah, then that would be amazing.
These gloves are great. I can
Yeah.
touch things.
Yes.
Okay.
High five?
High five.
and I think he gives you the high five, like, and he's like heading back over to like slap the sandwich together. I think like you might hear him muttering, like,
All right, good. You can make friends. This is okay. Yeah.
and I think at this point, Reginald, like, you're casting your identify. And I think that it's at this point that you hear the voice of the orb in your mind, like,
You are searching for deep function. I am capable of an incredible series of achievements. I speak Elvish, Sylvan, Primordial, Deep Speech. I'm capable of vision in the dark.
I am capable of none of those things at the moment.
and as you're like digging into like what it's like a whole like level of stuff is, I think that like you're rolling the pearl in your hand, or no, you're using your decoder, right? Your decoder reel kind of like, um, and I think that
No,
you're,
actually,
like,
sorry. I am using the pearl from one of the pearls from Huiroto.
Okay, cool. So you're like rolling the pearl through your finger for a minute, and I think that you perceive that it speaks all those languages. It can cast Mage Hand on itself to move around fundamentally, but it's also capable of manipulating other orbs or constructs within 5 feet of it with its Mage Hand. Very limited. You understand that if you or anyone would be willing to bond with it, it would access its higher functions as it continues to suggest. Those functions being the need to only rest for 4 hours each night. During that rest, you can perform light activity, including reading, writing, painting, cooking, tinkering with small devices, but sleep is no longer a concern. It grants you resistance to necrotic damage. It will allow you to rend a limited portal through the plane of shadow, i.e., cast Dimension Door once per day. It can cast Plane Shift, transporting you to and from the shadow plane specifically.
Is that all?
There is a huge downside to this. What is it?
Do not taunt Happy Funball.
But that your appearance will be altered, as your eyes will be changed to gleam entirely black, filled with the essence of shadow stuff, granting you disadvantage on all charisma checks involving social interactions with anyone other than denizens of the shadow plane, with whom you would gain advantage on social interactions and advantage on intimidation checks. You have a feeling that there may be more stuff.
If possession lasts for longer than 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Is
no.
it-
There an
I think
off
that at this
switch?
point you hear its voice in your mind, like,
My functions are highly sophisticated. I was designed to adhere a user bond with one individual for data accumulation. If you are willing to sacrifice, there is much benefit to be gained.
Is
for
it
both of
saying
us.
this out loud or just
No,
in my
it's
head?
speaking telepathically to you now, Reginald. Yes, it's definitely like as you're independently like sorting through the magic, it's talking to you. You know, like and it's just like It has been a long time since I have had a designated user.
Friends?
Hmm?
You everything okay?
Yes.
Oh, well, good.
It seems that this orb allows one to operate well within the Shadowfell, to blend in nicely and assist in that regard. But I have little sense of the costs associated with it. And for that reason, I cannot recommend. Yes?
Do you know if the bond is permanent?
Negative. The bond is not permanent, Jake. Only until user death.
It says this out loud.
Yeah, and I think that's where we'll leave our adventures today.
Oh my gosh! Only until user death.
I think that with the orb like floating in the center of the cabin, the like slitted pupil of this purple glowing orb like peers around the Jake, just like
Negative. The bond is not permanent. It lasts only until user death.
and like, and I think you hear old Ben like,
That's remarkable.
you know, fade to black credits, you know.
Oh my god.
Cut away as we watch the Dragonfly just sitting parked next to the portal, the rover parked next to it, the much larger ship. And yeah, that's where we'll leave our adventures today. I hope that was fun, you guys. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, glad we played.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Me too. Late night tonight, short night. Very fun though. Very fun night. Awesome raid. I don't know if any of you folks are still here, but Smelly Cat, thank you so very much for bringing your people here to hang out for a little bit. I hope it was fun for them and you enjoyed us. Yeah, this was a really good time.
Good times. Yes, we love having people come along the ride with us, and much more to come.
No joke. So yeah, you guys cracked into the first of your like real orbs of knowledge here. That is, yep, the accumulating shadow chronicler.
I love that we opened like the shadow one. Like we have other ones, right? That like
The other one you have an orb that was given
not
to you by Yana, and it was like an information thing. Then you have the one that you found on like the deep Scion underwater, underneath like the Tower of the Tieflings there in Cerelia. And so that one, the Badman has just been carrying, and you've like scoped it out a little bit, but nobody's dug into it super hard. But yeah, like you could speculate. Maybe even you could ask it itself, but like whatever happened that made it finally just like activate and woke up. You know?
And where was this one from? Sorry.
This was from the Deep Scion in Cerelia.
The Shadow Chronicler.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making sure.
Yep, no problem.
Chronicler.
Yeah, this one was retrieved at the bottom of the water world.
Amazing. So fun.
Awesome. That was
Okay.
really cool. We got some laughs there tonight, you guys. I really enjoyed it. I feel like you have a little bit of an agenda for next time. We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Gosh.
We'll see.
Yep. My brain is such a mess. Every time I went to say Lux, I went down the list of like characters in my head until I finally got to Lux. So every time there was like a pause.
You're like,
before
not
I
him,
said
Ray.
Lux.
Nope. How do you
Not
think I
Eerie.
feel, Taylor? I'm trying to track NPCs in 10
I
different
can't
games.
even imagine. My goodness.
Well, this was
That
really,
was
really
wonderful.
fun, you guys. We will be back again next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Before that, we don't have any Humblewood going on this week. We're going to have no Kings of Neon on hiatus until December. So, yeah, nothing really big or exciting or crazy happening here. I will be recording. Let's see what you guys are doing first. What's going on in the world with you guys? Taylor, you got anything out there you want to like hype up before we part ways?
Not too much. I'm super excited just for general things this
Tiger
week.
King 2.
Tiger King 2. Kurt's mad hype about Tiger King 2.
It's the
Kurt, what else
it's the
besides
big
Tiger?
streaming event of the week.
Oh yeah, it is. The big
Yeah,
streaming
it totally is.
Best day of the
Goodness.
year.
event. Controls.
Well, there's Survivor
Oh yeah,
tomorrow.
there is Survivor tomorrow. That show is still on.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And then there's Wheel of Time.
Wheel
What?
of Time. The Wheel of Time, Troy. It's premiering on November 19th. Actually, I think it's midnight Greenwich Mean Time, which is 7 p.m. on the 18th for those of us here on East Coast in the U.S. The Wheel of Time is a sprawling fantasy adventure story, perhaps the greatest written by an American author, a man named Robert Jordan, who unfortunately passed away, but the series was completed by a young up-and-coming author named Brandon Sanderson, who's got a few fans out there in the world. Anyway, for real, you guys, anybody who's like in the D&D, who's like hanging out in this room, in this space right now, if it's not on your radar, put it on your radar. Go check it out. Wheel of Time premieres this weekend. I will be podcasting about it here live Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. with Josh Wigler. We will be recapping the first episode in a very safe, spoiler-free environment. So I'm really excited about that. I'm super hyped for Wheel of Time. You can find that on the post-show
Oh,
recaps
so it's like Game of
podcast
Thrones.
feed.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Way better. It's finished. Yeah,
Yes,
that's kind
it
of
is.
Yeah.
Better and finished.
I'm
you see
just
how they bait
razzing,
me
yeah.
to
I
talking
just wanted
about
to
the Wheel of
compel
Time?
Rich to get his plugs in before we all get our plugs in, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm really excited about the Wheel of Time, you guys. For anybody
was
who's
inevitable.
like not heard me say it, yes.
Yeah.
I started reading it at the beginning of the pandemic. I finished it, 15 books, and the next day I picked it back up and started it over. And so I'm finishing it again, and it's
So
an
we have
extraordinary
to try and go
series.
around, yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
It's an extraordinary series. There's a lot of cool stuff there. I really implore everybody to go check it out and listen to me podcast about it. That's it. I'm done plugging. What about you guys? Is there anything else you want to hype up, Troy? Anything you want to be talking about before we part ways?
I won't be here next week, so
Nope, we'll
happy
miss
American
ya.
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Gosh.
Be kind to one another and have fun playing D&D. Here we go. Here's my thing. If you do holiday gifts, the supply chain's gonna be crappy in December. So make your lists, give people some advance notice. Make your shopping now. Just do it. Get it done with. I say this mostly to myself because I'm the person who waits until Christmas Eve and does it.
Take
so.
the advice. Take the
There you go.
advice.
There you go. And then whatever Kurt has to plug, I will add all of my support behind whatever Kurt has to plug.
Kurt, besides Tiger King, the streaming event of the week, Wheel of Time, what do you have going on?
You can catch my podcast on Royalty, Prince of Clarkness. It's no, I don't have anything for you to check out. So
I recall my plug support and I push it toward Rich.
I am DM Philly. I'm Rich Filiberto. This is what I do. These are my friends. We hang out here. We play role-playing games. You can catch me here talking about other stuff, too. If you want to go back through the VODs, there's a really cool D&D musical that our friends over at Post Show Recap, specifically Adam Humphrey, Pia in the chat, as he is known here, and his team of Tommy and Todd and their elite participants made a D&D musical. It's really awesome. The Marvel one-shot game is hanging out here in the VODs. It's really awesome. We do a lot of cool stuff. We play D&D. Thank you guys all for like the follows and the subs and all the support tonight. The donos, like for real. This is my full-time gig, and so you guys make it possible for me to pay my bills and feed this funny-looking cat right here in my lap. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
You guys, my friends, thank you for coming to play D&D with me tonight. Short session, better than no session. I love it. It was a lot of fun. We will be back again next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Dragonfly D&D in space.
Bye.
Bye.